He rebuilt everything: career, body, savings, self-respect. 2 years after signing the divorce papers, he was the best version of himself he'd ever been. So he opened the apps again. 6 months, dozens of matches, a handful of dates, and somewhere in the middle of the eighth first date, explaining his divorce to a stranger over wine, he stopped. Not in anger, in a clarity that surprised him. I'm Marcus, and if you're a man who did the work after divorce and found that the dating market punishes you for it, this is the quiet exit. And once you see why it's happening, you'll never explain your divorce to a stranger again. Let me describe what the last year looked like for you. You showed up to therapy when most men wouldn't. You rebuilt your body when it would have been easier to collapse. You stabilized your finances while paying for a life you no longer lived in. You were doing the work. And then you re-entered the dating market, expecting the market to reward what you'd built. It didn't. Not because something's wrong with you, because you walked into a market that was designed before you existed in your current form. And brother, that's not failure. That's a mismatch. There's a difference, and it matters. Here's the pattern nobody names. When you were 28, before the marriage, the dating market evaluated you on potential, ambition, energy, social proof. When you're 46, post-divorce, the market evaluates you on something different, on what you are now, on what you've built. But here's what's brutal. The things you built, stability, depth, the ability to commit, those things are priced in. The market expects them. It doesn't reward them. What the market does reward, right now, in 2025, is novelty, is performance, is excitement. And you stopped performing years ago. Not because you gave up, because you grew up. Picture the eighth first date. You're explaining your divorce. Again. Choosing your words carefully. Again. Trying to frame it as growth, not failure. Again. And somewhere in the middle of her nodding politely, you realize she's not evaluating your story. She's running a screening algorithm. Studies on how people process risk show we make most assessment decisions in the first 7 minutes, long before the second coffee arrives. You're not on a date. You're in a job interview for a position the market has already pre-decided you're overqualified for. Here's a data point that should make you angry. Not at women, at the system. Research on dating market framing shows this. A never-married man at 40 with zero therapy, zero gym, zero financial plan. The market reads him as selective, knows what he wants. A divorced man at 40 with completed therapy, rebuilt body, investment portfolio. The market reads him as overcompensating, trying too hard. Identical outcomes, opposite interpretations. Your divorce isn't the variable changing the equation. It's the label changing how the equation gets read. This is the stability paradox. The market already expects you to be stable. It doesn't reward you for it. What it rewards is what you stopped doing years ago, performing. Let's run the actual numbers most men never calculate. Dating app premium subscription, $30 to $50 per month. Average cost per date, dinner, drinks, transport, $80 to $150. Average dates before any connection, 15 to 20 dates minimum. That's $1,200 to $3,000 before you find one person worth a second conversation. But that's just the financial number. The real number is time. Research on attention economics shows the average online dater spends 5 to 10 hours per week on apps, messaging, swiping, recovering from rejection. Over 1 year, 260 to 520 hours. That's 6 to 13 full work weeks. Now ask the question nobody in the dating industry wants you to ask. If you redirected those 13 weeks into a skill that generates income,
What would compound in 10 years?
Most divorced men dating after 40 discover casual dating costs more per hour of positive return than any other discretionary spending in their life. This isn't cynicism. This is accounting. The men who stop dating after divorce over 40, they're not rage quitting. They're not giving up on connection. They're not becoming bitter. They ran the numbers. They looked at what it costs. Time, money, peace. Explain your divorce energy, and compared it to what they could build with those same hours. And the math came back negative. This is what I call the quiet exit. Not the angry exit, not the bitter exit. The calm, clear-eyed decision of a man who finally stopped letting the market assign value to something it was never designed to measure. If you're still here at the 5-minute mark, you're already thinking differently than most men who open this video. Most wanted validation for their anger. You're here because you want to understand the system. That difference matters. What I'm going to show you next is not pickup advice. It's not dating strategy. It's the architecture of a life where dating becomes optional and peace becomes the default. Stay with me. 3 forces built the mismatch. All 3 are impersonal. Force 1, biology. Female reproductive biology operates on a tighter window than male. This is endocrinology, not judgment. The result? Women's dating decisions in their 30s carry a different urgency than men's dating decisions at the same age. When she says you're moving too fast, she's operating on a different biological clock than you are. It's not cruelty, it's architecture. Force 2, economics. In 2025, solo living has never been more viable for men. High-quality food delivery, remote work, smart home systems, the practical reasons that used to make living alone genuinely hard, they've been systematically solved. A divorced man in 2025 has access to everything a married man in 1985 had access to, minus the friction. The economic necessity that used to bind people together is gone. Force 3, the attention economy. Dating apps were not built to help you find partnership. They were built to keep you swiping. The business model requires your dissatisfaction. A satisfied man deletes the app. A lonely, hopeful man with a premium subscription is the most profitable customer in the history of consumer psychology. These 3 forces converge into one outcome. The quiet exit is not an anomaly. It's the logical conclusion of a system that was never designed to reward what you've already built. Now, here's the part other channels won't tell you, because it doesn't sell courses. The men who make the quiet exit, they're not choosing isolation. They're not choosing bitterness. They're choosing something the market spent years convincing you wasn't available. They're choosing peace as a primary asset, not as a reward for finding the right woman, as the foundation of everything else. Think about what that means. Right now, your peace is either being spent or being built. Every date where you perform for someone's assessment, withdrawal from peace reserves. Every morning you wake up in a life you've deliberately architected, deposit. The reframe is this: you don't have to choose between partnership and peace, but you do have to choose which one comes first. And for divorced men over 40, men who've already paid for someone else's vision of their life, the sequence matters enormously. Peace first. Partnership, if it comes, second, and only if it adds to the peace, not subtracts from it. This is the sovereign frame. It's not going your own way in anger. It's going your own way in completion. The architecture has 3 levels. Level 1, the 12-month audit. Not a healing embargo, not a self-improvement sabbatical. A systematic remeasurement of your worth using internal metrics, not female validation. What you can deadlift, what you can build, what you can teach. 12 months of proving to yourself that your value compounds without a witness. Action this week. Write down 3 ways you've built value in the last 12 months that had nothing to do with dating.
If the list is shorter than 10 items, that's your next 90 days. Level 2. The social capital reallocation. Dating apps commodify you. Social contexts humanize you.
The organic environments, hobby groups, volunteer work, professional networks, community classes. Women in those spaces evaluate you by 6 months of empirical data, not by a 30-second algorithm. If partnership ever comes back, it comes from here, not from a swipe. Action this week. Name one community you've been meaning to join. Join it, not to meet women, to build something real. Level 3. The ROI filter. Every potential relationship gets one question before it gets your time. Does this add to my peace or subtract from it? Not, is she attractive? Not, does she like me? Does this compound or deplete? If you can't answer that question after 3 conversations, the answer is already no. Brother, I need to say this clearly. The quiet exit is not everyone's path. Some divorced men will re-enter, find genuine partnership, build something that adds more peace than it costs. I've watched it happen. But for a meaningful number of men, the men sitting in quiet apartments right now, wondering if something's wrong with them because they don't want to swipe again, nothing is wrong with you. You're not giving up. You're not afraid. You're not broken. You are a man whose nervous system is telling you, accurately, that this particular market is hostile to your architecture. The culture will call it fear of commitment. Your pattern recognition knows what it actually is: efficient resource allocation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." He wasn't talking about dating, but he was describing exactly this. The moment a man stops outsourcing his peace to a market that was never designed to protect it, something shifts. It's not loud. It doesn't happen in a dramatic scene. It happens on a Tuesday morning when you wake up alone, pour your coffee, and realize the silence isn't emptiness. It's ownership. You don't fill that silence anymore. You inhabit it. And that, brother, is not loneliness. That is the beginning of sovereignty. I want to leave you with one question, not because I need your answer, because you need to hear yourself say it. What was the exact moment you realized that staying alone was costing you less than going back out? Was it after the 5th first date where you explained your divorce? The dating app notification you stopped opening? The Sunday morning you woke up and realized the silence felt like relief, not defeat? Share it below, not for validation, for the man scrolling these comments at 2 a.m. wondering if he's the only one who feels this. He's not. And your story might be the one sentence he needed. This is Sovereign Male Dynamics. We're not here to teach you how to date better. We're here to help you decide whether dating is worth it. And if it is, how to do it from a position of peace, not from a wound that never healed. If this framework gave you clarity, subscribe. Not for numbers, for the next blueprint. Because we're building a library here, not of dating tips, of architecture, for the life you actually want to live. I am the architect. I will see you in the next blueprint. Sovereign Male Dynamics, architecture for the new male era.